Hey guys, what's going on? This is Eric Broadus and welcome again to my channel. And today I just briefly want to talk about a little bit of military content and maybe possibly a little bit of advice, maybe something you may want to consider for those of you that are already in serving, or maybe for those of you that will enter the military, something just to think about. And the title of this video is going to be called To Reenlist or Not Reenlist. Now, when I talk about enlistment, that means when you decide to swear in and obviously sign up for a contract to serve in the armed forces. Now, obviously, depending on which branch of service you are in, normally you may get anything from enlistments of maybe 2 to 3 or 4 or even 6 years, depending on how many years you sign up for, and also if there is a certain bonus or things like that involved. But the angular aspect that I'm coming from is, do you want to re-enlist to continue your career in the military, or do you want to get out? And I'm referring to the pivotal point. And normally the pivotal point is normally between 8 to 10 years after you've served in the armed forces. Mostly if people have served like maybe say 8 or less, they pretty much are still early in their career, so they may say to themselves, hey, I just want to get out, but that 8 to 10 year is a critical point, because once you go past the 8th year and you go to year 9, then logic would say that, well, if I've gone to 9, then I might as well go to 10. And once you go to that 10-year point in the military, then you might as well finish and go to 20. Now, some people actually feel that way. Actually, quite a few do. But if you're under anything under 8 years, is still considered fairly new or early in the military. So you may feel that you haven't given up too much time or too much of your life to Uncle Sam. So you can still salvage your time or recoup it, or maybe start something else. But most people, once they reach the 10-year mark in the armed forces, they reach a pivotal point of decision making. It's like a crossroads. It's like, okay, I've given 10 years of my life to an institution, and what do? If I stay the course and go another 10, at 20 I can retire. And in the military, you can retire at 20 for the grades, going all the way up, beginning at E5 and E6, you can retire at 20, and also E7. But certain branches of service, depending if it's the Marine Corps or either I think the Marine Corps or maybe the Army. I think the Army is still 20 years for an E5, but for most military members, retirement is 20 years at E5. But I would think that you'd probably, if you could, want to try to get promoted and get an extra grade, so that way when you decide to retire from the military, you'll be able to get a bit more pay, and retire at your tier 3, similar to the federal government. But yes, the 8 and 10 year mark, what are you going to do? Do you choose to follow on and continue, or do you choose to get out? And that depends on the individual and their situation. For some people, they may have a better opportunity outside of the military, and so they can move on regardless of any point. But most people, they feel once they've given 10, and for a career where you can retire as early as 20 years, most may want to continue on to 10. But this video is not to persuade you either way. It's just to make you think and consider your options or your choices. You know, consider them. If you make it past the 10-year mark, that's kind of like the breaking point. But if you're at the 8-year mark and under, then you considered still fairly. You might be considered fairly new in the military. So if you decide that you want to jump ship, you've gained enough work experience and maybe you've gotten your education out the way or gained other types of valuable training in the military, then you may feel you want to take those skills to the outside, to either the corporate sector or maybe maybe the federal and state government. So these are options to be considered. And for those of you that are considering joining the armed forces, you can retire as early as 20 years in the military. Now, depending on your grade, if you make higher grade, some grades you can go to, say, maybe 22, 24, 26. And for the enlisted, if you make it to the grade of E9, you can, I believe, go to 30 and possibly even 31 years. Obviously, for officers, it's pretty much the same tier, but as you go up, moving from either company grade to senior grade or whatever like that, you can stay in longer. I believe that generals can go, I believe, as far as like maybe 35, even 40 years. So it all depends. It's up to you. But these are just certain things to think about. For those of you that are in the military, the 8 to 10 year period, do I re-enlist? Or do I decide to leave now and start all over somewhere else? For those that decide to go to the 20-year mark, you can retire, or if you go beyond 20, you can retire from that and have a retirement check plus other benefits, and then follow on with the VA for different benefits, and you can start another career. But it's all up to you, and it's your choice. I just wanted to give you guys something to consider and something to think about. And please excuse, this is just a brief right because I was running earlier and working out. So please pardon that. But just some food for thought, to re-enlist or to not enlist. Do you want to do extensions? Something to think about. But that's all I have for this video, guys. And I'll leave a link in the description. And if you have any questions, for those that are not in yet, please contact a military recruiter, or you can go to, say, military.com, and you should be able to go onto that website, and you should be able to find many answers that you're looking for. But I will leave a link in the description of this video. But that's all I have for you guys on this one, and thanks for listening. Thank you to all my subscribers, and please share my channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. That's ERICBROADUS YouTube. And I also have a podcast called Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts. And you can find me on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Radio PBM, and a whole host. But please go over there and subscribe to my podcast channel and push it out and share it. And for Eric Broadus YouTube, if you're going to subscribe, tap that bell. And guys, please smash the like button and leave some comments. I would love to dialogue with you. But that's all I have for this video. Again, to re-enlist or not to re-enlist. All right, guys, peace out and have a good day.